Derbyshire's lower order combined to frustrate Somerset on the first day of the latest LV County Championship match between the bottom two sides of the First Division. Marcus Trescothick won the toss in Derby and inserted. Jamie Overton soon rewarded his skipper for that decision by having Billy Godalman caught by the captain at the start of the day's sixth over. That wicket had been on the cards from the very start, with overcast conditions and a green pitch helping the bowlers. Neither batting nor indeed wicket-keeping was especially easy at the start. Yes, it was a good toss to win. Wayne Madsen survived two big appeals for leg before, while Chesley Hughes took his runs from wherever they came. There was, just on occasions, times where the middle of the bat hit the ball, but that wasn't too often. Given all that, Derbyshire may well have been pleased to get to 67 before they lost their second wicket, Hughes edging an attempted whip to leg off Alfonso Thomas to give Trescothick his second catch of the morning. Somerset had worked really hard as a unit up until lunch, and they were rewarded with the crucial wicket of Shivnarine Chanderpaul for 5 just before the pasta, Craig Macheda finding his outside edge. Madsen was key now to his own side's success, and he was the only one of the top order to really cope with the bowling. No doubt his latest partner, Wes Durston, would have been looking forward to taking on the side which released him back in 2009, but he didn't last long, having made only 6 when he nicked a ball from Thomas, which both moved and bounced. Somerset, who like their hosts have not won a single championship game this year, then started to grab control. Madsen, who just completed another hard-working 50, was LBW to Steve Kirby. Ben Slater edged the same bowler to Trescothick for his third catch. And after Thomas got himself all over John Clare, beating him time after time with some unplayable deliveries, the batsman struck the first boundary in 22 overs, which just about summed up how difficult it was out there for the batting side. Clare, though, was the 7th man out 2 balls later as he edged a wild swipe behind, Alex Barrow taking a fine catch after the ball swung furiously after passing the stumps. So that left the home side in some bother on 173 for 7, although they would perhaps have to admit that things could have been a good deal worse. With the ball now older and the sun threatening to make an appearance in the East Midlands, batting did then become a lot easier after tea, and the returning Tony Palladino and Richard Johnson tried to make the most of that in order to restore some balance to this game. Johnson, though, did offer a life on 34 when he was spilled in the slips by James Hildreth off the terrific Thomas, who was still able to get a ball now right near the end of its shelf life to behave like this. With such things happening, Johnson's 50, his second of the season, was a fine effort indeed, especially as he was now up against the second new cherry. It had occupied 124 deliveries, from which he'd hit 7 fours, each one of them very important for a side which would dearly love to defeat their nearest rivals in the championship table. Palladino also looked good for a 50, but was out to the next ball on 49, Trescothick this time taking a superb catch above his head to end a top partnership of 82 for the 8th wicket. The second new ball claimed that wicket, and it wasn't long before it completed its work. Overton had Johnson held at full slip by Dean Elgar for 56. While the young quick then bowled Mark Foote for a duck off his pads to end the innings on 266, Overton finishing with 3 for 35 and Thomas 3 for 54. Somerset were left with 7 overs to survive, and Trescothick and Nick Compton managed to do that, although the latter was dropped. Alas for Somerset, the weather isn't looking very pretty for the weekend, but hopefully it will soon pass, allowing them to add to their 16 without loss, which leaves them 250 runs behind their opponents.